Well, in my opinion, I think being a global citizen means that you view the world as a community and you don't differentiate between cultures or ethnic groups, and there are no boundaries in a global community. You're free to express your ideology however you wish to. Also, global citizenship promotes environmental rights, gender equality, religious pluralism, sustainable economic growth. Most importantly, the prevention of conflict between countries with differing ideologies.
So, citizenship laws differ from country to country, but specifically, Canadian citizenship is achieved when an individual is born in Canada, or both the parents are from Canada, or the individual is going through the process of attaining a Canadian citizenship legally.
Well, for starters, citizenship is defined as the right to work, live, vote, and pay taxes in a specific country. And I think that everyone is considered a citizen of one or two countries. And that global citizenship is not to just define yourself as one citizen of a specific country. So technically, you are actually a citizen of the world as a whole, and it is your responsibility to be a good citizen.
As a Canadian, I value the patriotic ideology, but I am not so ahead of myself where I look down on other countries and view them as any lesser. Canada is a multiculturalist country, and that means that we accept the culture of all nations.
Everyone wants the best for their country, and I think that being a global citizen means that you want the best for every country. So every global citizen has a different way of thinking, and by bringing all these different ideologies together, we make a stronger foundation to make the world a better place. For example, if I were living in a communist country, I would bring the ideas of a collectivism to the table rather than really just going with the individual's ideology.
As a teacher, I feel like my main purpose is to educate anyone who is willing to learn. There is a lot to take in from Canada's history, and there's a lot that the world can benefit from our way of thinking.
Well, first off, I think some of my responsibilities are taking care of the environment, making sure it's clean and sustainable for all the animals to live in. But most importantly, to see the world as a whole, also connecting with those who share the common humanity.
You know, it's not very difficult to be a Canadian citizen while also maintaining a role for bettering my city, because the two go hand in hand. Being a teacher, police officer, doctor, etc., means that you are responsible for Canada's well-being, and that's what being a Canadian citizen is.
So to answer that question, I think first you have to ask me if I'm an individualist or a collectivist. And so if I were a collectivist, it would be easier for me to see the whole world as a whole. And to answer this question, I would tell you no, it is not, because I would think that every action an individual does leads to a consequence that affects the collective. And I would be a strong believer of Adam Smith's invisible hand theory. And that is what being a global citizen is all about. And if I were an individualist, on the other hand, I would want to work hard and benefit my society and my family, and I would not really focus on anyone else, because my way of thinking would be directed towards the things that affect my life directly.
Yes, I would identify as a global citizen because when you're helping other countries, you're not thinking about getting the credit, but thinking about the country that needs your help.
I'm a police officer, so when a conflict in my city occurs, of course, I would identify myself as a Canadian citizen, and my responsibility angles towards keeping the collective security intact. Do I lose my global citizenship identity? No, because as a global citizen, I understand that making each country's sense of security strong makes the world stronger.
As a collectivist, you tend to take the approach of making sure that everyone's rights are not being violated in the process. However, as an individual, you would look more towards your own security and safety, and you would take extensive measures to protect yourself than the society. As a teacher, I absolutely believe that the children of Canada need to be led into feeling pride for their country. Canadian government encourages the acceptance of everyone's beliefs and values, and this leads to a more prosperous world where there is a lot less conflict.
To some extent, because I do believe in individual freedom of choice and freedom of belief, but at the same time, I want people to join me in making the world a better and safer place to live in, and also to encourage acceptance of different ideologies and ethnic backgrounds, which can lead to a lot less conflict between the different groups. So that is the goal for the global citizens.
Yes, for example, you can take in the Quebec Nation and how they want sovereignty from Canada. Their personal interest overrides the collective interest to keep Canada as a whole, so when Quebec wants to split from Canada, they are able to.
I first need to explain that one country in the global community is seen as one individual, and that we can take the civil war in Syria, for example, and that the only reason that this conflict has been going on for so long is because of personal interests specific countries have and want to pursue. And to be more specific, Russia and China, and how they have on several occasions blocked resolutions critical of the Syrian government. They have been individually threatening sanctions on Syrians and using it towards negotiated settlements. Taking Ban Ki-moon and how he has previously spoken of his shame and anger at the international community's powerlessness to stop the war in Syria. He went on to say that the UN's credibility has suffered as a result of their actions. This is what happens when the global community takes on individualistic principles. Instead of working together to help Syria, each country just one on one to just pursue their own needs.
The views of the collective have to be widespread and accepted by everyone. The Canadian government will not force any part of Canada to partake. Therefore, if Quebec wanted to be sovereign, then we should definitely let them.
Any country unable to work as a collective for the greater good should be removed from the global community. Even though that sounds harsh, but that's the only way to ensure that everyone can benefit, not just Russia and China in this case. Obviously, we are supported by the collectivist ideology since it holds principles such as economic equality and the thought that every individual is accounted for the greater good. Well, I'm done.